Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading today for Pisces energy. Pisces, I hope you're all okay. I am getting a feeling that you may be dealing with somebody who is ill, perhaps somebody very elderly. You can see that I'm tripping over my words there, who may be getting a little bit scattered. I was just trying to unlock my phone, which I do 100 times a day, and I couldn't get the code right for unlocking my phone. I feel really scrambled. So I was trying to put in my code, but I was getting it all messed up, and I just felt really confused. So I feel like you could be dealing with somebody who probably somebody elderly who's getting a little bit confused. I'm also getting this feeling of like being medicated, and again, so if it's not somebody elderly, perhaps it's you or somebody around you. It could be that you've been ill, so you've had some kind of medication that's made you drowsy, it's made you kind of fumble a little bit. That's kind of the energy as it's coming through. Somebody may be particularly religious. I was kind of doing the Lord's Prayer again as I was tuning into your energy. I don't always do it, but I used to do it kind of religiously, if you like. I got to the bit where I'm getting it again. There's a bit where give us this day our daily bread, but I kept on getting it wrong, and I kept on going, give us this deal, our daily bread. So I feel like you could be doing a Kate Bush and trying to make a deal with God, or somebody around you is trying to make a deal with God. But again, if some of you are dealing with somebody elderly, you could be trying to make them quite comfortable, because I was getting comfortably numb. So it was coming through with a Lana Del Rey song called Wildflower, Wildfire. She says comfortably numb, but with lithium came poetry and all this wonderful stuff. So it's this idea of like being, it comes from a Pink Floyd song. I was kind of getting the Scissor Sisters version myself, but it comes from a Pink Floyd song where he's talking about an experience of a couple of different experiences in his life. One when he was sick when he was a child, and the other is he was going out on stage one night, and I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, I'm not the best fangirl at Pink Floyd stuff, but whoever wrote the song, he was going out on stage one night, but he had really bad stomach cramps, or he was in a bit of pain, and the doctor who was kind of like tending to the band gave him an injection, and it made him really, really numb and kind of spacey, and he felt like really disconnected from the audience. And he said he was singing and the audience were, cheering him on even though he was not doing well. So he felt like the audience didn't understand what he was experiencing. So this disconnect from the people around him, the people who may not understand what you're experiencing, something like this. Again, it could be you, it could be somebody around you. So what else did I get? I heard my favourite hair freshener. So you know how you get air freshener, but I was specifically hearing with the emphasis on hair freshener. Now it could be that somebody has, like dry shampoo or something. My favourite hair freshener. So take it as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. And then I was getting this visual of someone putting a seatbelt around something, but it wasn't a person. It was like, it could have been a baby carrier, but I don't think it was. Excuse me, my voice is going funny. It felt like it could have been like a cat carrier, or it was something. It felt like something containing something, and pulling the seatbelt around it and kind of clicking it into place to keep it from wobbling around. So that could be something for somebody. If it's not you, leave it. It could just be for one of you. And then the song that's randomized, which is fascinating to me. So I got all these messages through last night, trying desperately to try and remember them because I was too tired to make notes of them at the time, and luckily I remembered everything. But this general feeling of like perhaps being very tired, or perhaps having some kind of medication that's making you drowsy. The song that randomized for you this morning after I did the Lord's Prayer was Sleeper, the band Sleeper, and it's shrink wrapped. And the opening lines are, "You've closed your eyes and left me here, and now I'm jealous of your sleep." Isn't that mad that that's what should come out, and that's what I've been channeling? "I made some noise to wake you up, but it seems you've drifted out of reach. I'm not sure if you meant what you said, but that's okay, because it still sounded good when you said it anyway. I'm not sure where you are when I turn and stroke your face. You don't move anymore. So sorry if this is what you're experiencing. This is, wow, the reading is really doing a number on us. You don't move anymore, so it must be getting late. I'm not tired even now. I think I'm glad to be awake. I've met these fractured thoughts before, again, that kind of scrambled brain. They grin and wander around this place. I'll get up. All I find is the people that I hate. Real life disappears and gets shrink wrapped in its place. So shrink wrapped is, I think it can talk about therapy as well, like a shrink. I get up, watch TV, helps me feed my vicious streak. Real life disappears. Then we watch the spooks on the news, playing chess with the cynics. Hope you die in the arms of your shrinks in your clinics. Now it's gone, 5 a.m. We smile and plan our revenge, and by the end of the night has found its true friends. Up all hours sketching 1,000 great schemes. Maybe I'm too tired to colour them in. And then it repeats. And then it says, I get what I want, and then I'm not sure I want it anymore. So take that as it resonates. Leave it if it doesn't. I feel like we're getting a bit of a dark topic coming through with this reading. Again, somebody could have medication for perhaps if you're experiencing kind of fractured thoughts and things, and you have been to see some kind of therapist or counsellor or doctor about that, you could have some kind of medication that, you know, it makes you feel a bit numb mentally. You know, sometimes people who have kind of disorders like ADHD or depression, you know, or especially like things like bipolar, you know, I've talked to friends who take medication for these, and you have to try a lot of different medications because some you know, people can be used to feeling those kind of euphoric states, like the highs, and then to have this medication that kind of brings you back to baseline, it can, you know, from what my friends have told me, it can make you feel very, very numb and lifeless and, yeah, just bored, I guess. So again, do take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Again, this could be somebody around you experiencing this, and it could come through in a lot of different ways. It's like a general energy. Pisces. Gnosis. Is that truth? The Lover. Okay, well, take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Gnosis and the Gem. That feels like a deep dive, like a deep spiral into your own soul's core to find your hidden potential, your hidden talents, you know, what makes you a unique, special person in this world. So let's go Gnosis. Perhaps it is a case of having some kind of sickness or medication, or, you know, something that kind of gives you almost like an otherworldly experience, a feeling of kind of being a bit disconnected from reality. You know, maybe some mad dreams, but you come out of those dreams feeling like you've understood a deep truth about yourself. You know, those kind of like fever dreams. That's a good way of putting it. Sorry, I was given fever dreams. I was given the word. It kind of popped into my head. Gnosis, innermost knowing, mystic truth. Yeah, this is going really deep. This is going beneath the, you know, the surface level of your appearance, the way you present to the world, or you're doing this again to somebody else, going within until you find that kind of authentic soul core of yourself, or of another person. Again, I was talking about, I think in Aquarius is reading about holding my nana's hand when she was unable to communicate at the end of her life, and you know, reaching up energetically to the sun, to the heart of the sun, and that kind of pure, brilliant, bright white light, God energy, and kind of like blessing her with it, and she reacted. So again, I don't know, I was kind of like imagining pulling that energy into her own soul core. Just energetic work. I know not everybody's into that kind of thing, but you know, I was a bit surprised that she did react to it. True knowledge is not found in facts and figures, in scholarly books, or on library shelves. Rather, Gnosis points to the deep and timeless archetypal wisdom that rises from the felt experience. excuse me, I keep on feeling like I have to clear my throat. I don't know if that's something to do with, you know, symbolically that somebody has something with the throat chakra, or that somebody can't find the words or can't communicate, or that they do have throat problems. But I'm getting a real itchy throat in your reading. That rises from the felt experience of having touched the unknown with every one of the senses. Those who are drawn to Gnosis find themselves in esoteric studies, likely involving mysticism, alchemy, healing, or perhaps science. So perhaps some of you are doing energetic healing. What do you call it? Energetic healing. It's my neighbour a few doors down does it. Reiki. Knowing is their calling. Not knowing is their job description. No matter how far the alchemists take their studies, they come to the ultimate conclusion that facts slip towards mystery, and soon mystery results in facts. This card serves a knowing that is life-changing. Once you experience it, you are forever changed and become a guardian of Gnosis. The eternal mystery is calling to you. Study your passion in the deepest way available to you. I'll just show you how... Oh, it's like that. I was going to say I'll show you how you spell that, because it's like... When light, contemplating the mystery, unanswerable questions. So it's like accepting the unknown, accepting that you don't have all the answers, and taking that as fact. Like, it's a fact that some things are mysterious. It's a fact that some things are unknowable. Over intellectualizing and literalizing. So this is when dark. Over intellectualizing and literalizing, asking others. So it's saying trust your deep inner knowing. Bruce Nauman's The True Artist Helps the World by Revealing Magic Truths is something you may want to look up. This card relates to the riddle and the shapeshifter, all concern themselves with revealing mystic truths. Those who say they know don't. Those who say they don't know, know. So that sounds like that teach quote. Those who say they know, teach, or something like that. Those who say they know, don't. Those who say they don't know, know. Okay, so yeah, don't trust anyone who presents as having all the answers, because they probably don't. Kind of makes me think again about the conversations we're coming up in the readings about Socrates and you know, true opinions are things that can change, like the statues of Daedalus. I don't want to kind of go into that too far, but you can look it up if you don't know what that is. It was popping up in the readings a couple of weeks back. This idea that opinions, you know, you can take something that's very, very fixed, but it can very, very easily shift. You know, if you get a little bit more information, you can realize that something you took as fact is not actually as concrete as you thought it was. The gem, the diamond, the gold, the inner treasure. There are infinite names for the gem. It is known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing is for certain, is that it can be found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can't find it when you are among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly, deep in the earth, amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires a descent beneath the surface, where there is no definitive map, and yet the longing to touch the true gem within us is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. So yeah, you're taking a deep dive within yourself to find your true talents, the hidden gem that is you and your own soul, and the deep, deep knowing and understanding that comes from discovering the truth about yourself, the facts about who you are. And sometimes you don't know who you are until you're thrown into choppy waters, right? Until you are out of your comfort zone in a situation that really tests your character. You know, you have those situations where, you know, some kind of disaster happens or tragedy strikes, and, you know, some people run away, or some people panic, or some people cause a fuss, and some people take a deep breath and they do what needs to be done. You know, they give the first aid, they call the ambulance, they reassure people, you know, they go into that kind of hero we didn't know we had mode. So yeah, it's like you don't know who you are until you're tested, until you're tried. When light, unique, shining, generative, irreplaceable. When dark, envy, greed, and grasping. Go deeper, Legend of the Crystal Skulls, Leonard Cohen's Diamonds in the Mine. In mythology, the diamond is often linked to the daemon, or inner light that guides us towards our true self, our purpose, our destiny. So this isn't a demon, right? It's not the guy off Game of Thrones. If I can just focus the camera, it's inner light, right? It's funny how language and mythology and stories that from one culture can be corrupted by another culture, and it's something that's light in one, associated with light, and truth in one culture can be associated with darkness and you know, something that's demonized by another. The moments of your life that glimmer are clues to where the gem resides. Do not covet the sparkling diamond of another. The gem is like a fingerprint, never to be repeated again. Find yours. So don't try and look for yourself in others, right? So if you're chasing something, craving something, searching for something outside of yourself, it's not going to be found outside of you. It's going to be found within. So meditation, you know, like sleep and rest, you know, allowing yourself to daydream, allowing yourself to visualize things, you know, can really help you to work out who you are and what you really think about a certain situation. This is talking about making yourself happy, not being emotionally codependent with anyone, but, you know, finding that inner light yourself, you know, being able to reassure yourself, having confidence in who you are, all those kind of things that make you an emotionally capable person. Who is Pisces, please? Who is Pisces? Oh, that flew off the table and onto the floor. Okay, which way around do you want it? Yeah, so you've got Judgment in reverse. Give me a clarifier on Judgment in reverse. Whoa, okay. You're done with something. There's no going back for this. There's no second chances. You feel betrayed and you are not willing to revive a situation where you could have some kind of legal ties with something. You are aware now that there's something emotionally missing from this. So I don't know what this is for you. I don't know what this was for you. Somebody could be asking you for a second chance. You could be thinking, or seeing the potential to, not even seeing the potential, like having a situation where it's like, do I want to continue to put effort into this? Do I want to, is this my true soul's calling? Is this where I belong? Is this worth reviving? Is it worth continuing to stick with this? And I think you feel on a soul level that you do feel betrayed here, or there was some sort of betrayal that happened in this situation. A contract was betrayed, perhaps a divine contract between you and another person, you know, something that should have been fair and just and honest and balanced, but yet you feel like you were betrayed and you feel like you were stabbed in the back. So this is not something that can be repaired. There is something emotionally missing from this situation. It's not something that is comforting to you. It's not the Nine of Cups. So you need to go away from this. You need to move away and try something different and try something new. That's coming through really quite clearly. So if that's not your situation, this might not be your reading. For those of you who are like, yeah, we'll keep going. Yeah, you are strong, you are capable, you can nurture yourself, you can nurture those around you. If you're worried about money, don't be. You've got the skill and talents to rebuild. Of course, don't do anything based on a tarot card reading, but if this is what you're experiencing and this is resonating with you at a soul level and you know this, right? This is just confirmation of that. If you don't feel this way, if you feel like unsure, then I would say that this isn't your reading. Please don't take the advice because it's not intended for you, right? If it's not resonating, if you're not feeling that this is your story very, very clearly and intensely, then yeah, if it's not like a big wake-up call in your head, then it's not for you. You have to trust your own inner guidance here, your own inner wisdom. You know, what is your soul saying to you? Got a lot of chatter here that there is deception. Okay, let's go. We're going to get all your cards and then we'll kind of decipher them. Some kind of conflict or fighting, or you feel conflicted in your emotions. This is your emotional space, but then balancing this out. Like, it's like righting the ship or putting, like, you know, the thing about the safety belt, that feels like emotionally stabilizing. Could be a little bit of confusion about your options. You could feel a little bit emotionally pulled in a few different directions here. So you've got Five of Wands, King of Cups, Seven of Cups. So there is quite choppy waters going on in your emotions there. It's all Wands and Cups. In your thoughts, Seven of Wands, this is the thinking that you may have to defend yourself in some way or stand your ground. King of Cups. What's going on in Pisces' thoughts, please? Marriage, commitment, God, religion, higher education. That's the Hierophant. Asking for advice from somebody, perhaps. Needing more information. Feeling very trapped. Feeling very injured. Getting to some kind of truth. Action and communication on the bottom of the deck there. Right, so your energy, none of your cards are coming up in your actual reading here. So I do feel like this could be people around you. Right, we start off the reading emotionally very, very conflicted. You may feel emotionally defensive or like you have to fight for something emotionally. You feel a little bit triggered, right? It's like, because this is a card about conflict. It's a card about needing to win, needing to prove yourself, needing to fight off the competition. So you're feeling competitive. You're feeling like you want to take the high ground here with the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands in your thoughts is, how do I take the high ground? How do I stand my ground? When people are trying to knock me down, so when I'm facing all this competition, when I'm facing, you know, arguments with people, conflict, people who don't understand, people who want to knock me off my game, how do I keep my position? How do I defend myself here? How do I stand tall? How do I take the high road when everybody else is taking the low road? So feeling that energy of the conflict, but thinking quite stoically, how do I rise above this? And you feel very, very trapped in your physical environment, in where you are, right, in the real world, out of your head, out of your heart, the environment around you. You're feeling very, very trapped, but you are in your head about something. So you can't see a way out of a situation, but it's perception. So we'll kind of clarify that in a second. What is this conflict? High Priestess, I'm sorry if I'm causing you any kind of conflict here. Again, if it's not your reading, it's not your reading, leave it. If you're feeling, if I'm saying things that are triggering you, okay, so if you're coming to my readings or even other tarot card readings, or you have your own, if this is somebody who's not you, right, a High Priestess, somebody they keep secrets, they are very secretive, they're very, very intuitive. If you're feeling like something I'm saying is causing conflict within you, again, it's really important to maybe even pause the reading, maybe walk away from the reading, go for a walk, think about, if I've said something that has triggered you and triggered that kind of maybe fight or flight within you, maybe a defensive response, maybe check if you've got Cancer placements. It's telling you something about yourself, and it doesn't matter. And this is the thing about Gnosis. I don't know. I'm reading cards. I don't know you. I don't know your personal situation. This is not personal. I'm not attacking you, right? I am doing this reading for you. So if I'm saying there's something that's making you feel defensive or feel attacked or feel abrasive in some sort of way, just pause the reading and ask yourself why that is. Okay, so this is not a personal attack, but if I've said something that has provoked you, there's something that you need to look at inside of you regarding that, right? It's like, why has that provoked you? Is there something that happened in your past where you felt the same response? You know, is this a reoccurring thing where, you know, this thing happens and you feel defensive? Is there a different way to process this? So it's not really, I'm getting a lot of mirroring. Aquarius had this as well. I'm getting people who are projecting their own beliefs and their own thoughts and their own fears onto me, rather than going away and doing that inner work themselves, right? It's like very Cancerian response. So Cancer is, attack is the best form of defense. Like, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm perfect, and yet, for, you know, if I'm triggered, it's your fault. That's Cancerian energy. Not all Cancers, again, we're a full chart, we have different placements, so how we react to things on an individual personal level can be a lot more nuanced, but that kind of I don't like to be criticized, therefore I'm going to say that I'm absolutely perfect and the fault's with you, right? It's somebody who's not doing that shadow work. So again, Carl Jung, the shadow is really important. So when everything basically that happens in the world is just a mirror of ourselves, right? So anything we project onto anyone else, anything we accuse anyone else of, is just basically a manifestation of our own shadow as a fear or a denial. So when you get really, really secure as a person, when you really find this kind of like deep inner truth and wisdom, you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to prove yourself, because you know that the only important connection is your own connection with yourself and your own connection with whatever you think those higher powers are. The petty little battles of earth are not something that you have to worry yourself about. So if you're getting angry with me, I'm just reading cards, right? If you're getting angry with me, you're actually getting angry with yourself, and you need to go and do that inner work and figure out why. And some of you don't want to hear that. And those of you that don't want to listen and don't want to hear it and don't want to be open to it are the ones that need to do the work the most. The ones of you that are the most angry are the ones that need to do the shadow work, right? The ones of you who are like, yeah, I heard this before. I'm in that Nine of Cups energy. I'm in that King of Cups energy. I've got the balance. You know, I'm not triggered. I understand what you're saying. We've talked about Carl Jung. Actually, Pisces is the one that told me about this. So shout out my friend. You know, those of you who understand what I'm saying and have been here for a while and are calm are not the ones that message is for, right? Others of you are using your own high priestess energy, your own intuition, your own deep connection to whatever this is, to move through feelings of conflict, right? It's like you're allowing your higher self to guide you through those moments where you feel you know, that kind of flight or fight response, or that kind of responsive triggered energy. You know how to calm yourself, you know how to trust your instincts, you know how to trust your guides, which I think is probably, for most of you, especially those who've been coming to my readings for a while, because you get it, you know, moving into this King of Cups energy, which is deep confidence with your own emotional truths, right? And you know, the waves may rock the boat of the King of Cups, but he knows how to keep his ship steady in those waters. He knows how to navigate emotions, and you know, he feels things very, very deeply, but he does it in a way where he's quietly confident with it. So Seven of Wands, what is this? Why do you... Because you need more information on something, because you're watching, you're waiting, you're gathering information, you know there's more information to be gained here, so you have to defend your position while you gain some more information. I'm going to put these away in case they want to come back out. Why do you feel so trapped? Emperor, right? There may be a boss, some kind of, this tends to be like a CEO type person. It could be something to do with the government, especially with the Hierophant here as well. Authority figures, the people who make the rules, the people who make the laws. So there's some kind of authority that is making you feel trapped in your physical environment. Could be father as well. It's very, very patriarchal. You've actually got a lot of patriarchal energy in this reading. Now, I don't know, there's nothing here really telling me a specific gender for you, but your actual spread here has a lot of male energy in it. You have the Emperor, you've got the Hierophant. They're the kind of the Emperor and the Hierophant in one reading. That is really like the powers that be. It's like you know, King Charles is he's the monarch. He is also the head of the Church of England, you know, head of state, head of church, head of, you know, the people who are meant to guide the ship, you know, the people who are meant to be the figureheads of society. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily King Charles. It could be some kind of government official. It could be a church leader. It could be a community group leader, right? It could be a father. It could be a grandfather. It could be, but it is quite patriarchal. And now this doesn't mean that women can't be in, we're all a mix of light and dark. We're all a mix of yin and yang, male, masculine and feminine. So we all have that to tap into. So it could be actually encouraging you to step into your own more action taking, authoritative kind of the person who creates the momentum, rather than the kind of more supportive role. So I don't know, take it as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Although the Hierophant and the Emperor and the King of Cups, they support a lot of people, right? They run a tight ship, but they have a lot of people who depend on them. So there's some stuff to think about there. I don't know if that applies to you or not yet. Taking action, it could be you stepping up and taking action, taking a lead in something, you know, putting on the big boy pants, that kind of energy. So becoming very, very emotionally certain, emotionally stable with that King of Cups there. Tell me about the King of Cups for Pisces. It could also be a person that you're connecting with. This is really deep. This is like deep, deep waters. I feel like you could be connecting with someone. It could be a Scorpio, it doesn't have to be. You could also have Scorpio placements. This is also Pisces and Cancer, Leo. A lot of major arcana supporting this King of Cups. Again, you have that High Priestess there as well. It could be that you've got Scorpio in your chart. Check out your moon, check out your Mercury, your Venus and Mars placements. You are drawing from this deep well inside you, this deep place of inner truth and wisdom and certainty to make this, to be very emotionally sure, to be very emotionally confident, because yes, you may not know the whole situation, you may not know all the answers, which is why you're trying to watch and like logically speaking, what's going on in your brain here is, I need more information on this. I need to seek out more information. I need to watch and wait and see what becomes revealed, because there's something that you know on a deep and emotional level, even though perhaps there's some confusion around it because perhaps it's not manifesting in your actual reality yet. But you're looking at this truth, right? This wounded warrior here with this telescope, yes, physically you've been bearing with something for a very long time. You've been very patient, I want to say. You could actually have some kind of health issue going on here as well. This is long-term health issues. But you're the wounded warrior. You've kept on going. You've got this deep emotional truth about whatever it is that you're facing here, whatever this battle is that you're facing, and you're feeling injured, but you're still going, right? You're still watching and waiting for this very, very, like potent truth to be actualized. So something that you know emotionally is going to be revealed here in the future in your actual physical environment, I want to say. But that is coming from a very deep spiritual place, I want to say, whatever's going on emotionally for you there. And then we have this kind of like God representative here, right in the center of your reading with this Hierophant. Why is the Hierophant here in Pisces' thoughts? Hierophant there again, look at that. So the Hierophant can be Taurus energy. The Hierophant again is like the representative of spiritual authority. So it can represent church. It can also represent like places that you go to for higher knowledge and higher wisdom. So perhaps like a university, perhaps a grandfather or a senior figure who has deep insight and perhaps deep spiritual insight, and this is in your head. So it could be a person that you want to seek out. Maybe you want to go and talk to a priest. It can also symbolize marriage, although, and deep commitments, right? Like meaningful commitments. But here in your head, because this is in your headspace, the Nine of Swords tells me this is almost tortured thoughts. This is like the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords. This indicates sickness, physical sickness in your physical space, and mental sickness in your thoughts. So you did have the moon here. I did see the Seven of Swords earlier, and you do have the Seven of Cups. So be very, very careful that you are not. And you do tend to do this, Pisces, sometimes. And I'm sorry to say it, but Pisces, you are an energy, or Pisces energy itself as a pure energy, rather than a person who has multiple signs in the chart. Pure Pisces energy does pull the wool over their own eyes. They do live in illusion. They do live in the world of fantasy with those rose-tinted glasses on, where perhaps it could be that some of you are in a long-term marriage or a long-term commitment of some kind, or that you are under the authority of a certain figure. Again, this could be a boss, or somebody that you are in some way contracted to. And it could be that this has been a long drawn out situation for you, where it's actually taken its toll on your physical health and your mental well-being. It has a feeling a little bit of like thinking yourself sick, right? Like going around in your head so much that you become physically exhausted. So please watch out for that. Take care of your mental health. Some of you may actually have mental health issues that you need to go and seek support for, seek advice for. Again, it could even be like some of you have voices in your head and they're not saying nice things, and you want to go and speak to a priest. I don't know, it could be that for some of you. I have voices in my head. Hi. What's that Birds of Prey quote where she's like, something about the voices, and then she's like, ha, that's not what they said. But the voices in my head, I feel like are my spirit guides, because a lot of the time the things that they say, and of course when I first started to hear things, I thought I was going mad. I was like, do I have to go and see a doctor? But then the things that I was hearing actually played out. You know, they were predictive, and it's not just proven to me; it's proven to people around me as well who know me well, and they see the things that I'm getting actually manifest in the reality. So yeah, it's something beyond me. Yeah, I may be crazy, but not that type of crazy. Sorry, I'm not calling you crazy, right? I'm making jokes, and I make jokes about everything. Please don't take that personally. But you know, there's a difference between, we all have an individual experience, and my experience may not be your experience. And then while my guides are very tongue-in-cheek, and you know, I think I've heard like 2 things that seemed scary, but normally it's in a way where I'm being given advice, or I'm being given a heads up. So I want to say, if you have, you know, dark thoughts, this kind of came up in, maybe it was Aquarius or Capricorn's reading. If you're having really dark thoughts, or you're having intrusive thoughts, or you know, you're hearing voices that are telling you to do bad things, and you know, this is affecting, it's not something that you are coping with, it's something that you're struggling with, you know, actually going, I don't know if going seeing a priest is what I would advise, but perhaps some of you are thinking about that, you know, thinking, do I need an exorcism? Again, we all have to find our own path and what works for us. I would say a doctor would be, if you're struggling, I would say go and speak to a doctor or a mental health specialist before going to a priest. But you know, what works for you works for you. I don't think that's for everybody, but it's been coming up a little bit in my readings, kind of increasingly. So I do want to kind of say, you know, we are all having very unique experiences on this world, and if someone's coming to my reading and they're really struggling, you know, and they're feeling like, you know, I'm hearing these voices, I'm having these intrusive thoughts, and it's scaring me, and I don't know where to go for help, you know, and I don't know if I want to admit this, because then what happens if people think I'm crazy? I'm really, really getting in their own thoughts with that. You know, I want to say that the universe hears you, right? The universe, you know, and maybe it's just reassurance to hear me saying it, that, you know, you're not alone. Other people do experience this, and it's okay to ask for help. It's actually encouraging you to ask for help, because the 2 of Cups is talking about coming into balance, finding that person who understands you and supports you and accepts you for who you are. And you know, you have the Strength card as well. This is somebody who's not going to attack you. They're not going to try and belittle you. They're not going to try and knock you down. They're saying, I understand how you're feeling. I understand, because I get in my own thoughts as well. I get in my own head as well. So it doesn't have to be anything as severe as actual mental health issues. It could just be a certain situation that, you know, you cannot get out of your own head about, right? It's like, it does have that feeling of like worrying yourself sick. But this Hierophant here, it could be for some of you, you're in a marriage. Oh, there's burdens behind it though. Or traditions that feel burdensome. It could be the kind of situation where, you know, it's complex. You know, on one hand, you know, there could be a person or a place or a kind of authority that gives you a lot of support, where you do feel like, you know, you match this person on a spiritual level, yet at the same time, you know, this connection feels burdensome. This connection feels like it gets you trapped in your own head. You know, things can be multifaceted. So I'm not sure. And again, this is the thing, Pisces, you've got some confusion in your reading. You've got some conflicting thoughts, which is I was picking up on right at the start, and it's showing in your cards. So I want to say, I'm starting to feel sick with it as well. I'm sorry. I'm starting to say, I'm tempted to say, you need to figure out a way to take a mental break from this, because I feel like, you know, you're thinking yourself in circles. You're thinking yourself into analysis paralysis. And I think that was talked about in the cards here as well at one point, where it was saying, you know, you may be sorry, I'm just trying to check the time on my phone here, or the battery on my phone. You may be, you may need help getting out of your own head about something. Tell me about the Nine of Wands, please. What's the Nine of Wands in Pisces? There's that communication. I think you could have to communicate. You may have to communicate your needs, or take action on something where, you know, you share finances, or, you know, with somebody else. It's got a feeling as well of like, with this High Priestess character, it's like perhaps it is someone like me, or a tarot card reader, or somebody who's intuitive. It could be you if you're, you know, you probably are very intuitive, being a Pisces and being connected to the moon and things like this, where you are, perhaps you intuitively know something about a situation. You know, you're reading the signs about somebody else's home life, somebody else's family life, where you're seeing something that other people aren't seeing, you know? Like this child is looking at her. And that Nine of Wands again. I've got the feeling that you know something. And it's got the feeling of not knowing why you know something. And it's about, it could be, it's got the feeling of being like about home life or family life, or some kind of workplace where, you know, finances are shared, or there's this kind of monetary comfort, but I feel like somebody feels stuck in it, like they can't. It's like a situation that should be stable and comforting and reliable, but there's this person in that situation who feels wounded and trapped, and it could be you. But there's communication and action here about heartbreak. King of Wands and Justice card. I don't know, everybody's looking at this truth, so it'd be interesting to see what comes out with that. Okay, what's this confusion? Because you're going into this real emotional confusion where you're feeling quite overwhelmed by your options, or you're not knowing. Okay, look at that. Two of Cups, Ace of Cups. The Devil and the Lover's card. Right, okay, wow. There is a connection, and it's a very, very deep spiritual bond, and it has got you in your head. You are kind of being quite obsessed with this. I want to say you've got some obsessive thinking where you are over analyzing something, and it's making you confused about which emotional decision you should really take. But this is saying to me, I mean, if the Devil card wasn't here, this would be like, you have met your person, you have met your one true love, you have met your happily ever after, you have met your soulmate. You know, the only right choice to make here is the choice that speaks to your heart. You're being divinely guided. These cards are beautiful. The Devil popping in here is telling me that this could be so good that you are thinking obsessively about it. But with the Seven of Cups as well, there could be some illusion. Somebody could be playing you. Somebody could be making you feel like you've met your soulmate. And yeah, again, this could be your fear. You could be afraid. This feels too good to be true. So that Devil popping up there is a bit of a, it could even just be that you've met a Capricorn. The Devil card's Capricorn. It's not their fault, right? They deal with a lot of karma. Not just their own karma, but everybody else's karma as well, right? It's like they have to fight those battles. Pluto's in their chart at the moment. Thank God Pluto is about to leave Capricorn. I just feel like I just need to hug all the Capricorns that I know, because they've had Pluto really, really, really putting them through the grinder, and they're coming out of it. And I'm like, I just feel like I need to throw a party for the Capricorns that survived that Pluto retrograde. And then having Saturn in the chart just before, right? I'm like, you all right, Capricorns? Do you need a hug? Capricorns are like, no, I'm tough. I'm a survivor. I don't need a hug. I can hug myself. Right, okay. Page of Swords. So I need more information. I'm not clear on something. I can't make an emotional decision because, yes, I'm sure about myself. I believe in my own emotions. I feel like I'm confident with myself. But there's somebody else and you don't know, right? They are confusing you. So you need more facts. You want the facts. You want the truth. You can handle the truth. The truth is coming. It's here, right? So what's the Page of Swords? I need more information. I need some facts here. I need I need to stop feeling like someone's pulling the wool over my eyes. Be patient. The truth is coming. You will have clarity. It could be coming along with a certain offer. Now, this could be money. It could be a job offer. It could be, you know, I'll train you up and teach you these skills. It could become, you know, I don't know, it could be a lot of different things, but it's something tangible. It's something that you're going to be able to hold. This is not something that's going to feel like it's, you know, something that you know in your emotions, but you don't see the evidence of. This is like the evidence, right? This is like cold, something cold and hard that you can hold in your hand, right? So it may not be that you can physically hold it in your hand, but it may be something like a job, right? So it's like, this is something that's, you know, that's real, that's going to show up in your actual action space. So it's like you can feel as much as you want to feel, but unless somebody's going to show up at your front door and knock, or somebody's going to send you that text that confirms, yes, that person feels the way I thought they felt, or, you know, this person, I don't know, it's like, it's got the feeling of like putting money where your mouth is, but doing it in a way where it's restrained and it's careful and it's cautious. So it's just like toes in the water, right? But be patient, be balanced, which I think you are, right? With the King of Cups there, it's like you're patient, you're balanced, you're sure of yourself. But you need that other person to show up in a way that feels tangible and reliable. Ace of Swords, what is this truth, right? And it's like the truth will set you free as well, is what I'm hearing. Like, this is going to give you that clarity that you need. You know, being patient, watching, waiting, knowing something, then this ace comes in. So what is the Ace of Swords? I don't know if you're communicating or if it's coming into you. Ace of Swords, please. Ace of Swords. There's a decision. Are you going to speak your truth or are you not going to speak your truth? That's player energy. That's somebody who's unreliable. That's somebody who's like there for one hot night and then out. It could be that somebody says to you, look, all I'm interested in is a hookup. I'm not interested in anything long term. You could be saying this to somebody else as well. Tell me about the other option. Well, okay. Your other option is to continue to sit in this Nine of Wands energy, this wounded warrior energy, to be patient, to persist with something, whatever this Hierophant is. This thing that you're contracted to, it could be a marriage, to stabilize it, to draw strength from it, to persevere, to grin and bear it, to, I hate that. I really hate that. I don't want to say that to anyone. But that's your option, right? But this has 3 major arcana, and this is a flight of fancy. This is long-term stability, but it's hard work, and people are injured there. This is a one-night stand. And that's the truth about this option. And I'm not telling you what to do, right? Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like when you... It could be commitment. It could be that you have the option to... It could be that you have the option to start a new relationship with someone, but how you start that relationship depends on how you show up, right? If you accept this, if you accept, you know, someone who's in and out, if you tolerate this, if you tolerate that kind of behavior, you know, if you open the door, pull your pants down, you know, they're going to run in and run out and be like, thanks, that was great, that was a great time, I had fun. If you stand your ground and you're patient and you hold back, you know, if what you really want is commitment and marriage, then hold back. You know, keep your pants on, lock the chastity belt. Say, you're not coming through my door unless you show up with an engagement ring. You know, what do you want, Pisces? And I think you need to be honest with yourself about this. And if you want a night of passion, never to see that person again, because sometimes that's what you need, right? Sometimes you need that fun and that excitement and that passionate moment and that, you know, that memory that could last forever, even though you may not ever, you know, be a long-term match with this person. Or is that not enough for you? If you're really truthful and honest with yourself, is that not what you want? Is that not really going to satisfy you? I don't know, Pisces. It's your truth, right? It's your decision to make, but I feel like it's reliant upon whatever this Ace of Pentacles is for you. Pisces, advice please. That's gone into my plant pot. I don't know if this is kind of like planty looking as well. Serendipity. The universe has got this. Don't worry. You're in your head too much. It could be that you're blocking the flow of the universe. Get out of your head and into your heart space. Your heart space knows what's going on. Yeah. You're actually being told to be passive. So it could be that you've been aggressively chasing something in some sort of way. Could have been in Knight of Wands energy in the reverse. Yin is passive, supportive, receptive. It's funny, I was talking about that yin and yang, right? You've got a lot of masculine energy coming through in this reading. You've not had any queens. You've not had the empress. You had the high priestess, but there was conflict with it. So it's like you're trying to fight your own inner feminine. So again, going back to, Carl Jung and this concept of the persona and the anima or animus, we do have, the way that we normally navigate the world, the way that we're comfortable with, the way that we present, and then the side of ourselves that is like the mirror or the flip side of that feels wrong to us. It feels like it's not who we are. And when we embrace our shadow, we're embracing our anima or animus, which makes us whole and makes us complete. So you're showing up with a lot of masculine energy. You've not had any feminine cards at all. I mean, justice could be feminine, and the high priestess was feminine, but it's connected to this conflict. So it's like you're fighting your own soft side. You're fighting your own, and again, not to stereotype male men and women or masculine feminine energy. What I'm saying is that it's different sides of ourselves. And yes, I'm saying masculine feminine. It's because I need words to explain stuff. But we are all the energy, right? And you're being in this kind of aggressive, taking the lead, trying to push for things, trying to control the situation, where actually what you may need to do is kind of hand it over to the universe, right? Hand it over to your guides. Sit there and daydream, sit there and imagine and fantasize and manifest from that more Sleeping Beauty type place. Allow the feminine to come through. I think the world itself has been in denial of the softer feminine ways of doing things. I feel like the world itself has lent towards representations of aggressive feminine energy. You think of Katniss from Hunger Games, or I don't know, there's a lot of encouragement of women to be combative or to fight or to go out and be that kind of Wonder Woman who does everything and doesn't need a man. But again, I'm not talking about gender. I mean, I'm talking about gender stereotypes a little bit, but you're going to have to give me a little wiggle room to explain what I'm saying. And then some of the qualities of, I'm Cinderella mouse, right? Some of the qualities of that kind of typical kind of Disney-fied feminine are being seen as something that's wrong, or seen something that is weak, or seen something that is, something that you shouldn't be. It's like, grow up, don't be the Disney princess anymore. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we believe in dreams? Why shouldn't we have hope? Why shouldn't we be kind? And why shouldn't we tolerate things? And why shouldn't we be patient? And why shouldn't we form those supportive friendships in the darker places? Why shouldn't we dream about a handsome prince coming in to rescue us because he's our one true love? Why is that bad? Why is that wrong? Yes, you can see how sometimes that takes away some of our power to control our own life. But what happens to trusting the universe? What happens to allowing the universe to teach us certain lessons and to come out of those dark places and those dark periods that have made us feel like, the dog's bodies, still shining and still hopeful and still good and pure and bright and believing. Like, why is that a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, Pisces, you do come through quite often with the kind of like, you know, the people who don't grow up. You are kind of that old soul, but forever young. You know, Pisces is this funny energy. So, oh, I've got 5%. I need to wrap up. But you know, you kind of, you know, the oldest sign in the zodiac and also the baby of the zodiac. So you've got this wonderful kind of Peter Pan like duality to your nature. So it could be that, you know, the world has tried to force you to grow up. The world has tried to force you to be responsible and, you know, to do what everybody else wants you to do. But at your heart, Pisces, you may be the dreamer. You may be the fantasist, and there is place for you in this world, you know. So let yourself be nurtured, let yourself be looked after if somebody is around you who's capable of doing that. Okay, yin, essential meaning is the feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information and taking in cues. Gathering information, you have that a lot. The art of conscious allowing. Okay, so general message. This is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming to you, ready to accept it when it appears. Yin, and you are having, something's coming towards you, right? Yin does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you, poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. It implies sensitivity, which you have in spades, as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped, not the shaper, and you will see how quickly your dreams manifest. Okay, for those of you who are asking about a specific relationship, doesn't have to be love, it can be friendship, co-workers, but relationships. Let others take the lead right now. Your power lies in small gestures, soft awareness, and conscious surrender. By yielding the reins, you will find yourself effortlessly moving closer to what you truly desire. Permit others to tell you who they are and who they can be to you. By allowing their actions to speak about them, you will be pleasantly surprised. And again, you've got this serendipity. For those of you that this is career or finances or home life and like tangible things, this is a time when the most effective action is to allow others to show you the way forwards. Observe their behavior and follow their lead. Your desire to push through must take a back seat for now. So this is this fighter energy that you start off with. Collaborate and offer your ideas rather than dictating what must happen. Let others come to you. It is important that they feel that they have power now. Another meaning is about releasing your need to have things in the form that you want. How do you want to feel? Basking in your success. Now allow the universe to show you the form. Yin is the sign of essence. Things may go more smoothly than you expect. Right, so I had this dream visual last night when I was meditating where I went through into the dark place. So to me it feels like the underground, like where Hades would live, right? And I kind of like went through these kind of like, you know, crossed the river with Sharon, you know, went past Cerberus, went through the field of you know, forgetting, but like didn't forget. And I went into kind of like this this is just one of my spirit guides that I kind of access, and I went into this kind of plutonic, kind of Scorpio like chamber, which is always like very black and shiny. It's like made of obsidian, and walked up to this figure, right? This kind of plutonic, it's just a personification of that kind of scorpionic plutonic energy, you know. And as I was approaching, I felt like I was shimmering in that black room. So I was suddenly aware of wearing this kind of like sparkly silver dress that was like shining. Like I was shining. I was bringing light to that dark space in that vision. And again, this was something like a dream. I wasn't controlling it. I was being given this. And it made me cry because it's like, you know, it's almost like having a warm reception in this place that, you know, could be quite scary. It's a place of authority. It's a place of, you know, that I didn't necessarily feel like I belonged in, but as I walked up that hallway, it was like coming home. So I did feel like it was symbolic of the story of like Persephone and Hades, where, you know, there's a lot of romanticism around that I see on social media of like when it's autumn, it's like Persephone is returning to Hades. She's returning to her husband, and he's embracing her warmly. You know, he's missed her for those 6 months or 3 months, depending on the myth, that she's been up on earth with her mother Demeter, and now she's back in the arms of her beloved. You know, they had a bit of a rocky start, but you know, they are depicted as having a very, very loyal relationship. So I really felt like I was Persephone returning home, which seasonally is accurate if you're in the northern hemisphere. So, and it was beautiful, but of course this Plutonic figure is very domineering, right? And as the principal god in that situation, where Persephone is the minor goddess, you know, she's the I think she's niece. It's a bit like Damon and what's the face off House of the Dragon, right? But you know, weird classics culture. But yeah, I felt I did have this kind of knowing my place, right? Knowing that I was the yin in that situation. And again, I'm not trying to reinforce gender roles. You know, everybody has different relationships, different things that work for them. If you represent as female and you want to wear the trousers in your relationship, I absolutely get that. I'm a Libra, which is a cardinal sign, and I have like something like 9 masculine placements and 1 feminine placement. So even though I present as being very, very feminine, that Plutonic figure is my own animus, right? It's my own inner masculine that I don't present as. So incorporating that is a whole thing. Go and just look up, right? Anima, animus, persona, you know, the shadow, and Carl Jung, if you don't understand anything that I'm talking about. It's like there's a need for us all to know when to be in passive energy and let someone else take the lead and let someone else be in that position of authority, even though we're fully capable of doing it ourselves. You know, just because we can be the authority figure doesn't mean that we always have to be. Sometimes we can let other people look after us, and that's okay, right? We can play both roles in different situations. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Let's get you a song and then I'm going. Uploading your reading. I'm sorry it's a little bit late as well. I was away for 2 days this week. So if you were expecting the reading and it's late, I'm sorry about that. I'm trying not to run on a schedule at the moment though anyway, just to make you aware. The impression that I get by the mighty, mighty Bosstones. Have you ever been close to tragedy or been close to folks who have? Have you ever felt a pain so powerful, so heavy you collapse? No. Well, I've never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has, which makes me wonder if I could. And I'm glad I haven't yet, because I'm sure it isn't good. That's the impression that I get. Have you ever had the... I think this is out of a movie as well, so if that's resonating for you, go with that. Have you ever had the odds stacked up so high that you need a strength most don't possess? This is what I was picking up on here. Right, the strength that most don't possess. A lot of people fall down and don't get back up again. That's the nine of wands in reverse. That's feeling like this situation has been so long drawn out and so draining that I can't keep going on, and they give up. Where knowing how to be... And this is my thing about this... This is my thing about this 9 of Wands energy. This is an emperor or an empress in the making. This is somebody, when you know how to survive 9 of Wands moments in your life, you become incredibly strong. That is, you cannot be a true emperor or a true empress if you haven't been the wounded warrior first, and I truly believe that. You know, taking that deep dive into the darkest, scariest parts of yourself. Have you ever had the odds stacked up so high you need a strength most don't possess? Has it ever come down to do or die? You've got to rise above the rest. Yeah, so I'm not a coward. I've just never been tested, which is what we were saying here. You find it in those darkest moments, you find out your true character. I'm not a coward, but I've never been tested. I'd like to think that if I was, I would pass. Look at the tested and think, there, but for the grace go I. What? Might be a coward. I'm afraid of what I might find out. So it's like a fear that if you were tested, you would not pass the test, that you would give up. But that's not what I'm seeing in this reading. I'm seeing perseverance. I'm seeing somebody who is an emperor or an empress in the making, because you have... I mean, this is literally... Look at this. It's like, look, oh my God, that's what it is. Look, the strength that most don't possess. So your own faith, your own confidence in who you are at a soul level, your patience, your tolerance, your ability to persevere through trials. You look at who you are, Pisces. Look at who you are. This is all major arcana. If you doubt that you've got the strength to survive a tragedy, to survive dark times, you've got the strength that most don't possess. Absolutely. It's right there in your cards, right? Because you're tolerant, because you're patient, because you're compassionate, because you nurture others, because you heal wounds for yourself and for others. Like, you are the person that people need in a crisis. Be careful about that negative impulsive streak. That negative, it could be that you've got Scorpio in your chart and sometimes you just I've seen 2 crows, sometimes you just knee-jerk reaction sting. Just be wary of that. This is definitely looking like a lot of strength here. Right, okay, I hope this was helpful. Do check out the description box down below, where you'll have a list of songs and something else may pop out at you that could be helpful. You are strong, you are capable, you have got this, you will survive any trials that life throws at you, and you're going to come out on the other side as that kind of emperor or empress energy, really knowing who you are. And I think you're going to be proud of how you handle this. All right, universe has also got you back as well. Take care. I will see you again soon. Bye.